Welcome back. Our CBS News teams have been poring over bystander videos of the deadly shooting of Alex Pretti in Minneapolis. And we have to give you a warning. What you're seeing here and about to see is disturbing. Videos show Border Patrol agents pepper spraying Pretti, pushing him to the ground, removing a gun from his waistband before shooting him multiple times as he lies on the ground with his hands above his head. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Skanger has more.
About 2 minutes before the shooting, Alex Pretti is seen arguing with officers. One officer pushes him back, and an individual is detained as Pretti's argument with officers continues. Pretti, holding a cell phone, was allegedly there as an observer to document what was happening. About a minute later, Pretti is seen standing in the street, filming, directing a car past him. An officer then approaches another apparent observer and pushes her. She moves to Pretti and holds him by the waist, and the officer approaches and pushes Pretti. A second woman walks over. The officer pushes her to the ground, then sprays Pretti with a chemical irritant. Pretti raises his hands to block the spray. Pretti and the first woman then move to assist the woman who is knocked down, and the officer continues to spray. Several more officers arrive and drag Pretti onto the ground. An officer in gray reaches into the struggle and comes out holding a gun that appears to match a photo of a gun released by the Department of Homeland Security. In this video, obtained by CBS News, you can clearly see the gun being removed from Pretti's waist by the officer. The first shot is fired about 1 second later. Slowed to a quarter speed, you can see and hear how quickly the shot follows the gun's removal. In another angle, you can see an agent watch as the gun is removed from Pretti's waistband before the agent pulls his own gun and fires at the kneeling Pretti. The officers move away from Pretti as at least one of them continues to fire. Pretti does not appear to be moving. Around 10 shots are fired in total by law enforcement. After approximately 45 seconds, at least one officer eventually moves in and kneels next to Pretti.
Anna Schecter joins us now to fact-check the Trump administration's claims about what we've all just witnessed there. Anna is the head of CBS News' Crime and Public Safety Unit. Good morning, Anna. That was extremely disturbing to watch. And almost immediately after the incident, multiple Trump administration officials started claiming that it was actually Pretti who attacked officers. Let's just quickly play what FBI Director Kash Patel and Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino said on the record about all of this.
You do not get to attack law enforcement officials in this country without any repercussions.
This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
That seems to conflict with the multiple eyewitness video accounts we just witnessed. How do you make sense of the differing accounts here?
Well, what I see in those videos is Pretti holding a cell phone, not holding a gun. When he's down on the ground, I'd like to know exactly at what moment the agents understand that he does have a gun on his hip. I imagine at that time they might be surprised to find that he's carrying. I'd like to know what's in their mind. Of course, we can't do that. That is why there is an investigation. All of those agents should be interviewed. But the fact that the gun is taken away and then the shots are fired, at that moment, when those shots are fired, you still have multiple agents on top of Pretti. So he is in a vulnerable position, and he clearly didn't have his hands on the gun. Of course, it does raise the stakes for law enforcement if someone is armed, but the gun was taken away. This was all happening very, very quickly. And I think in the context, it's also important to remember that there was this very aggressive stance to remove these people documenting what was going on with the ICE enforcement their operation, and then that aggressive push to push people to the ground. They clearly were pepper spraying Pretti, getting sort of control of him on the ground. Why is that? Was that necessary? I'm curious to hear why they would explain that very aggressive stance. And then once he's already on the ground, shooting him when he's in that vulnerable position. Obviously, those agents probably wish they hadn't done that. Once you see all this video, you see he's clearly on the ground and clearly in a vulnerable position with multiple agents on top of him. Those shots fired, it's really disturbing.
And all of the questions that you've just raised, Anna, are key. And you wonder why then not allow each agency to investigate this. As we spoke about with our Camilo Montoya Galvez just a few moments ago, ICE's Homeland Security Investigations branch will lead the federal investigation here, which he said is quite unusual. Help us understand why that is.
Very unusual. HSI generally investigates drug trafficking. They are involved in often multinational investigations or investigations that involve trafficking of illegal goods across borders, or if someone has foreign terror connections. So it is unusual that HSI would lead this investigation. I would imagine that, generally speaking, the FBI would step in since it was federal agents that shot and killed him. It would make sense that the FBI would lead and then other agencies would assist, including locals, state. Everybody should be working together to figure out what happened. So this is a really unusual situation.
All right, Anna Schecter, I know you'll stay across this investigation. Thank you so much.